Chapter 9, Entangled Desires. The air crackled with anticipation as a figure emerged from the dancing shadows cast by the moonlight. Tall and proud, her presence commanded attention. Her dark hair fell in loose waves around her face, and her eyes sparkled with a mixture of emotions, joy, curiosity, and a hint of mischief. Naia, Darius breathed, his voice thick with emotion. Lyra watched, intrigued, as the siblings embraced, their reunion a beautiful display of familial love. The joy and relief on Darius's face softened something within her, and she felt a warmth spread through her chest. "I had to come," Naia said, her voice carrying a musical lilt. "I sensed your restlessness, brother. And now I understand why." Her eyes turned to Lyra, keen and inquisitive. Lyra felt herself drawn into Naia's orbit, captivated by her aura of charisma and knowledge. "You must be Lyra," she said, her smile reaching her eyes. "The sea has whispered your name to me." Lyra found herself unable to look away, ensnared by the intrigue of this woman and the mysteries she held. "It's nice to finally meet you, Naia," she said, her voice steady despite the turbulent emotions swirling within her. Naia's presence was a force, filling the space with an energy that was both comforting and exhilarating. "I've heard so much about you, Lyra," she said, her eyes shining. "Darius has shared your stories, your passion for the sea, and your quest for understanding." Lyra glanced at Darius, seeing him through new eyes that now knew his secrets, his true nature, and the depths of his heart. "Your brother has been a guide and a protector," she said, her voice soft with gratitude. Naia's gaze shifted to Darius, and in that moment, Lyra witnessed the unbreakable bond forged between them. "Oh, brother, I know your ways," she teased, her tone affectionate. "Always the guardian of our kind, drawn to the challenges and mysteries of the human world." Darius smiled, a mixture of amusement and affection playing on his face. "And you, sister, always eager to explore the depths and uncover forgotten tales." He stepped closer, his presence a shield against any doubts or fears. "But now, your concerns can rest. Lyra knows our secrets, and her heart is true." Naia's eyes widened, a mix of surprise and curiosity reflected in their depths. "Then we welcome you, Lyra, into our fold." She stepped forward, her arms open, and enveloped Lyra in a warm embrace. Lyra felt accepted, embraced by this family and their unique connection to the sea. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice hoarse with emotion. As they pulled apart, Naia's expression turned serious. "But, brother, there are dangers." Her voice trailed off, her eyes flitting between them, knowing the complexities of their situation. Darius nodded, his gaze unwavering. "I know, Naia. But sometimes, we must follow our hearts, even if the path ahead is uncertain." He placed a hand on Lyra's shoulder, his touch a silent promise of protection and devotion. The air between them thickened with unspoken words, desires, and fears. Despite the escalating tensions, the sexual attraction between Lyra and Darius was a tangible force, electric and all-consuming. Their eyes met, holding for a moment that seemed to stop time itself. Lyra glanced at Darius, a silent understanding passing between them. Their bodies shifted subtly, turning inward, creating an intimate space within the larger gathering. Darius leaned in, his voice slow and urgent. "We should go. There's something you need to see." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and anticipation. She turned to Naia, a soft smile on her face. "Thank you for sharing your stories, Naia. I hope we can continue our conversation later." Naia's eyes flicked between Lyra and Darius, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "Of course, Lyra. I look forward to it." She paused, her gaze lingering on Darius. "Be safe, brother. The sea is full of surprises tonight." Darius offered a small nod, his hand lightly touching Lyra's elbow, guiding her away. Their movements were swift yet controlled, a dance of urgency and discretion. Lyra's heart pounded in her chest, echoing the rhythm of the sea. As they stepped away, Darius leaned in, his breath warm on Lyra's ear. "We need to head to the cove. There's something happening in the water, something unusual." Lyra's eyebrows shot up, her mind racing with possibilities. "What is it?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Darius's eyes scanned the horizon, his voice a hushed murmur. "I can't explain it here. But it's important. We need to go now." Lyra felt a thrill of excitement and apprehension. She glanced back at Naia, who was watching them with a mix of amusement and concern. Lyra offered a reassuring smile before turning back to Darius. "Lead the way." Their bodies moved in sync, a shared purpose driving their steps. The air around them crackled with anticipation, the unspoken promise of discovery and adventure propelling them forward. As they left Naia's company, their minds were already focused on the mysteries awaiting them in the cove, their hearts beating in time with the rhythm of the sea. The air was heavy with anticipation as they made their way along the coast, guided by the moon's soft luminescence. Their steps were urgent, driven by the promise of discovery and the intensity of their shared desire. The silence between them crackled with unspoken words, each aware of the other's presence, their bodies moving in sync towards an inevitable culmination. Lyra stood at the water's edge, transfixed by the captivating vision of Darius, his tall, muscular frame accentuated by the silvery moon's embrace. The ocean breeze played with her hair, teasing her senses, as the waves beckoned seductively, promising secrets and untold pleasures lurking beneath the surface. Her gaze intensified, drawn to the mystical allure of the sea that seemed to embody the very essence of Darius himself. She took a purposeful step forward, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and longing. "Unveil to me the secrets hidden within the depths," she whispered, her eyes reflecting the moonlit ocean as her desire burned fiercely. "Lead me to your realm, where the sea becomes the silent guardian of our intertwined desires." Darius advanced, his strides purposeful, his presence commanding the air around them. His eyes, smoldering with a primal intensity, held hers as he issued a challenge. "The depths can be as treacherous as they are enchanting, my love. Are you prepared to surrender to forces beyond your mortal comprehension, to embrace sensations that will envelop you, body and soul?" Lyra's pulse quickened as a tempest of emotions waged war within her. Exhilaration, trepidation, and a hint of fear flashed across her features, only to be banished by the intensity of her desire. She took another step, her determination unwavering. "I am ready," she asserted, her voice steady even as her heart threatened to overwhelm her. "Initiate me into the ancient secrets of the sea. Allow me to explore the depths of your desire and uncover the mysteries safeguarded by the silent sentinels of the ocean." As they stood together in the moonlight, feeling a pull they couldn't resist, Darius leaned in, capturing Lyra's lips in a passionate kiss. The warmth of the moment enveloped them, and Lyra melted against him, surrendering to the heat coursing through her veins. Darius's hands roamed over her back, pulling her closer, as Lyra pressed herself against him, exhilarated by the intimacy. With each soft caress, their bodies moved in harmony, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. Lyra pulled away slightly, looking into Darius's eyes filled with warmth and longing, and whispered, "I want to feel everything with you." He nodded, a smile breaking on his lips. "Then let us embrace this moment, together." They shared tender kisses under the stars, their hearts beating in sync, celebrating the connection that had blossomed between them. The ocean waves crashed rhythmically in the background, harmonizing with the weight of their shared feelings. Lyra and Darius lay entwined, their breaths slowly returning to normal, the sea whispering secrets against their skin. The moon cast a silvery glow over their bodies, highlighting the contrast between Lyra's petite frame and Darius's powerful form. Their eyes met, reflecting a mix of exhilaration, fear, and uncertainty that mirrored the tumultuous emotions within them. Lyra reached up, tracing the line of Darius's jaw, her touch feather-light. "That was intense," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the rhythmic lullaby of the waves. She felt raw, exposed, as if every barrier she'd ever erected. Darius ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident in his tense muscles. I can't turn my back on her, Naia. She's different. She understands the sea, she understands me. Naia's expression softened, but her resolve remained unyielding. I see the way she looks at you, Darius. But remember, humans are fickle. Their love can turn to fear and betrayal in an instant. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to an urgent whisper. We have a duty to protect our kind, to safeguard the island's secrets. Lyra is a risk we can't afford. Darius's jaw clenched, his eyes reflecting the turmoil within him. I won't let anything happen to our people, Naia. But I can't walk away from Lyra. I have to believe there's a way to bridge our worlds. Naia took Darius's hand, leading him to a secluded cove where the water was calm and clear. She sat down, pulling him beside her. Remember when we were young, how Father would tell us stories of our ancestors, of their battles and loves? Darius nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. I remember. The legends of our people, the prophecies. Naia turned to him, her eyes serious. There's one prophecy that speaks of a union between a child of the sea and a human. It foretells of a great upheaval, a changing of the tides. She paused, her gaze searching his face. Darius, what if Lyra is part of that prophecy? What if your love for her brings about a storm we can't control? Darius looked away, his jaw tense. I won't let that happen, Naia. I'll find a way to protect our people and my love for Lyra. Naia sighed, her voice softening. I hope you're right, brother. But remember, even the strongest swimmer can drown in a riptide. As the night wore on, the tension between the siblings escalated, their voices echoing through the empty beach. Lyra watched from a distance, her heart aching with a mix of confusion and longing. She saw the love between Darius and Naia, the fierce protectiveness they shared, and she wondered if there was room for her in their tightly knit world. The emotional whirlwind within her was overwhelming, the exhilaration of her intimate experience with Darius, the confusion over Naia's warnings, and the growing awareness of the consequences of her desires. She hugged her knees to her chest, her mind racing with questions and doubts. Darius, caught in his own storm of internal conflict, felt the weight of his sister's words pressing down on him. He loved Lyra with a ferocity that defied reason, but the loyalty to his family and their shared heritage was a force he couldn't ignore. As he looked at Lyra, her eyes reflecting the moonlit sea, he knew he was standing at a crossroads, torn between two worlds, searching for a way to protect them both.